Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel. Here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host to this wonderful program, HR Hotline. Wonderful afternoon. It's a Saturday, and before I sat into this studio of mine in my bedroom, I had 2 hours in my garden. Now, the topic for today is very interesting. A lot of webinars and events actually mentions it. It's about similar to what we discussed a week ago, advancing HR. But this time, it's not about advancing HR as regards your career. This is advancing HR's technology. The pandemic compelled us to work from home. That's the positivity of the quarantine. The pandemic forced a lot of organizations to think, to revisit how far, how good are they with technology. Just like me, I thank Lloyd Luna and Apple Manansala for giving me this opportunity to do live stream. We were forced to do it. We are now in the 4th industrial revolution. But a lot of us are still on the 1st. The 3rd industrial revolution is actually digitization, using the internet being online, using um, our cell phones, the videos, the collaborative tools. The fourth is about cyber, using AI. Just like now, somebody was calling me and I have to decline it. That's how life is. That's the better normal. Communication is faster. The use of gadgets and appliances will be pervasive. My helpers, Jojo and Cheve, have two cell phones each. You must have a tablet, you must have a computer, a laptop computer, or even in the house. So, how do we fare in that? How is the technology in our organizations? As I mentioned earlier, a lot of us are still in the third industrial revolution. How are we going to transition and catch up with the fourth? We should not be left behind. Even if we are in the agricultural or in the power, much more in commercial. I used to be a consultant of not only one, of three government agencies. I've not mentioned them. You know, I found out they have nice up, no, no, the two updated HRIS. But I mentioned to the first one, the other one, if your HRIS was not purchased after 2016, and I know that because I was president of PMAP in 2016, and there was this guy who mentioned it in one of the GMMs in PMAP. That means that your HRIS has no analytics feature. Attention to all those who have HRIS wherein you got it before 2016. That means you cannot do analytics in that system. But the other two, wherein they have the HRIS and all the desktop and all the laptops, you know, it's so funny. When I was, that is a different story. When I was talking with one of the HR staff, she even has a Photoshop. I just don't know. We're just going to use the Photoshop. So it can be you have the system, the technology, but you're not using it because you don't know how to do it. And that's actually agile learning. You have it, you know it, but you don't know how to use it or to do it. Or you're afraid to do it because it may, this is now the collaboration with machines, it may in time replace you. But that is not the point. The reason why you are getting technology to help you, to help you. You have to have a microwave to help you, of course, cook and heat. A lot of houses now have rice cooker to help you. So you are getting systems, technology to help and assist you, not to replace you. Let me mention that even with your bandy clock, your biometrics, there is now what you call a face pass by Salarium, wherein you can track without contact attendance and then your temperature. So where are you with technologies? Again, if you are a, what do you call this? A fan, a patron, a viewer, a regular viewer of HR Hotline, we invited, or we, it was mentioned, our dear friend, who is a friend of mine for the longest time. We have been together with the People Management Association of the Philippines for more than 2 decades. We started when I was with Inquirer with some of our projects with Tesla. And when we discussed about advancing HR for your careers, he shared a lot and he grew up and he's now my idol. He's a fellow in people management. He just graduated cum laude from prestigious school in the US of A, an MBA, and now he is the CEO of HRTX. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Gilbert Camasura.
Hi, Jesse. Hello, my friend, and
Hello.
for thank you for having me back. And hello to all the viewers and your patronizers of your HR hotline on TNC.
You
So,
should
maganda.
be back because we lacked time last time, last Saturday. We lacked time because we were not able to discuss advancing HR's technology. And I know you are very much engaged with it. But before we do that, you sent me a dessert and it's still there in the fridge. And I need to have crushed ice. Am I right?
That's right.
What
Yes,
are
yes.
what are these? What are these? What are
Uh,
these?
Well, those are nice Thai desserts, which I actually started learning back when the entire lockdown happened. Not for anything, but I'm fond of traveling. I have relatives in Thailand, and I just so love those crispy red rubies until I discovered more gems that I call them, name them after. So you have, I think what you got are crispy red rubies, and then you have your chewy green emeralds, and then I think you have your gooey purple amethyst, which are all delicious, I would say.
Wow.
They're product of great invention that I've done through good research and development. So I hope you like it, Jess.
Personally, you are doing this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ito
this is
yung
great.
these are the things that, sabi nga nila, if there's something that I've learned over the pandemic, that's basically trying to learn something new. That's over and above,
Wow.
what we do in our profession.
Yes. You know what I did was actually play the piano and garden, but you're really my idol. Research and now it's entrepreneurship.
Well, Jesse, it's keeping ourselves productive and
And you may
find.
not know it. You can have it as a business.
Well, a lot of people have encouraged. So what has happened there, Jess, is that I had it sent to a good friend of mine, and
Yes.
as soon as I sent it, good friends of her tried it, and it all started like, where did she get it, and like everyone's craving for it. So I tried doing one, I tried twice, thrice, and then did new again twist out of the first and the original flavor. Then I came out with five gems, actually five colors.
Actually, I had that when I was in Bangkok. That looks like a Mayon volcano, crushed ice,
Mm.
and then you
Yeah,
put You put something there.
your cocoa syrup over either pandan, and then I had twisted it on salted caramel. So yeah, I mean those are things that I've kept, that has kept me busy and normal in
But
the new.
to link it with what we're going to discuss, I heard that you research. In doing so, you research and you had some innovation.
That's right. That's right.
So
Because
the traditional Thai, you advance it into something.
that's right. That's right. So from the first original crispy ruby, you had other flavors, and same to the topic that you've invited me to talk about. Basically, this is all taking our profession to the next level, not on the basis of us taking it as a career, but HR being a function, being a business driver to any organization. And Jesse, I think we lacked time last week and last Saturday, which was a good discussion with you, that we were talking about if we were to advance HR, we need to bring it to the next level, which is trying
Right.
to leverage on the availability of technology being a new tool for organizations to not just survive but actually to grow around this time in the fourth generation.
Okay, since you started it, I would like to ask you the first question that I prepared. How does technology affect HR now, most especially with the pandemic?
Well, that's a really good question, Jesse. A lot of people are still not comfortable when you talk about AI, technology,
Yeah.
getting into play with, say, our profession or any profession for that matter. I would always say that a technology will never replace any HR function. Any part of the organization would still require the capability of any human resource. Like any individual could still play and work with their respective organization. However, because of organization efficiency and trying to adapt to like what we have available to speed up, especially using big data, it gives us a better understanding of how we could drive business with more efficiency in terms of using again these available technologies that are with you. So never will technology replace HR. That's something very certain. But technology, as I mentioned, is that it will enable people to become better. It could speed up the velocity is going to be one of the key drivers there, and then of course business efficiency.
But um, yes, I agree. But we need to reskill and upskill because I had as a guest Michelle Cordero, our past president Michelle Cordero Garcia, and our topic was about in due time some of the HR functions and positions will be gone because of technology, and there will be no positions that will also appear because of the use of technology. So
You're
it will
right.
not replace. Yes, yes. Can you give your insights because I would like
Yeah.
to discuss that also.
Yep. So
Yes,
that's basically that's you're right, and Michelle is right that again, the reason why technologies are here, they will replace some functions that are being performed by any individual, either in HR or any organization department. So when you talk about AI taking over some of the functions, these are mostly the transactional. Say for example, in recruitment. We know that 70% of recruitment can already be transformed to artificial intelligence or could be performed by artificial intelligence, robotics, or RPAs. For example, the way people source, the way people filter, the way people interview and assess individual are all transactional that has transformed actually to digital platform. And I know a number of solutions that are available in the market that could actually make this, the new normal in recruitment. Especially so
right.
in the pandemic, you've seen people coming into, more virtual interview. But what we're doing right now is basically via Zoom. One that we're
Yes.
the one that I'm telling you or sharing with you that artificial intelligence can do recruitment is that you just need to let the artificial intelligence learn and know how you think, how you would like the questions to be, ask, and they could all be transformed and be translated to a manner of like it's going to a digital platform. So people will now be interviewed not by anyone but your artificial intelligence. So going
But
back
the
to
first,
the question
yes, yes.
kanina, yes, so if that is the case, then recruiting is no longer going to be the usual recruitment that we've learned 3 or 5 years ago, no, not even the 10 years ago. So having said that, people are encouraged to learn the new skills that will be able to adapt to the kind of new platform, Jesse. So kailangan
Yes.
natin, we need to learn how to operate, how to manage, how to work with artificial intelligence and other technologies or platforms that any organizations are using at the moment.
Okay. There are two items in my mind. One is, will it be affordable to a medium-sized uh, organization?
Again, that's part of the whole transformation. Number one, let me just stress the point that organizations will only transform to a digital platform when they feel they see the necessity of this. First, the basis of which is the readiness of the entire organization, readiness
I
from
like
leadership to the
I like
employee. Number two, the investment, whether
Yeah,
they could afford to, do they have the platform, do they have the technology, and so on. Now,
I was
talking about
making yes.
affordability of technology, most of the technologies that I have seen so far, Jesse, say for
Mm.
example, for you to be able to perform, to transform it, it will only take you to just give up like one cup of your coffee, and there you go, somebody else will do it for you. Ganun siya ka-affordable. It is as
Yeah,
low
right.
as 50 pesos or even 30 pesos just to do the transactions every so often.
I think what you just mentioned, you mentioned the word investment. They really have to invest and then try to do the cost benefit analysis.
That's right.
We'll do it one after the other, one after the other. But you know what? Just thinking for that, for the first one, for recruitment systems, I think there are some industries or agencies. I'm referring to Palscon, the one that are
Mhm.
doing recruitment, that they can advance their HR technology by looking into that because you're do day in and day out they recruit. Okay, so let's start from the talent management. What do you call it? Components. So, what is the first one? What are the advanced technologies for talent acquisition? Please
So
share with
talent
us.
acquisition, say for example, if you look at the entire process, so you could definitely advertise, either you're in LinkedIn or any social media, people could
Right,
advertise. But to
sourcing
fetch
yon, sourcing yon,
the
sourcing.
sourcing piece. So from the sourcing piece, Jesse, an artificial intelligence can actually and already, pick all the qualified, pick all those profiles, all respondents to any advertisement and filter, so that
Right.
you could have keywords. So for example, you have keywords that will drive it. Like you're looking for HR officer, or you're looking for training manager, and so on. So those keywords, see, artificial intelligence will read any of the CV. So the moment it captures some of those information that are there, it translates to a qualified profile. So that alone is going to be your initial screening, paper screening. There is already an artificial intelligence which runs that way. The second process of recruitment is when you start doing your initial interview. So instead of human doing it, imagine if I'm the recruiter, a member of Palston or any company for that matter, and I would have to interview 10 positions to fill in, and I have 50 candidates to interview. I will have to spend 1 hour at a time or 30 minutes at a time for interval. But when you have artificial intelligence, see, the efficiency is going to be like simultaneous. The 50 can take all their interviews, right?
Yeah. So you
At
only get the
the
short
market.
list. You only get the short list.
And then from the 50, it filters further because based on the questions, you could have a preview and view from what the artificial intelligence is offering you. Now, the moment, so if you make decisions and you feed that info, you feed those decisions that you've made to the technology or the robotics and artificial intelligence that you're working with, it actually follows the kind of thinking and decisions that you make. And so that will actually be trained to say you filter which ones are the qualified and then you drop which ones are not qualified. So you set the bench and then it creates a further, ripple effect in terms of like how you make decisions out of, these kinds of things. So very important. Now there's another artificial intelligence that I have worked with. Ito naman, Jesse, when I look at you and you look at me here, the artificial intelligence actually reads the 1000 eyeball movement of your, of
Oh,
course, your eyeball movement, the
oh,
verbatim words that you say, and the
yes.
kind of words that you, so the kind of words that you share, and the facial expression that you have. So it captures, the camera captures exactly your facial expression, your eyeball movement, and the verbatim words. From there, it goes through a process algorithm that they say based out of research studies done from psychological from psychologists that are known in terms of how people will be assessed. Then boom, you'll have a report which generates the kind of personality you have, the kind of style, or whether you meet the standards of for the positions that you are applying for. So that's well tested and it's in the market right now. I've encountered that. I've tested it. That's not the kind of product, that's not the kind of service I do for the company, but rather we help people, we help organizations transform.
So that means that, yeah, I'd just like to share this. When I was in Inquirer before, and we have the job market, that was actually the problems of those subscribers of the job market, wherein you give them a list of 100, and it takes them time to shift and filter. So,
Mm-mm.
so this time you have an AI to do it for you. But
Yeah,
the
so
next
what will
question,
happen is, kunin mo yung, get those 50, put them in the file where the artificial intelligence sits. The artificial intelligence starts, screening and, browsing through the CVs. And out of the process, they will actually float to you which ones are qualified based on the parameters that you have set. Remember before, when we started, job fair, we were already very happy by doing a paperless. Yung mga
yes,
tipo, you scan it, then I get a copy of your CV. That
yes,
was the that was the second that was the second generation. The third generation was okay. Now you do this kind of interview. The fourth in the fourth generation is basically, Jesse, you're not gonna talk to Gilbert anymore, but you will talk to somebody as if like he's a recruiter, but actually he's a machine driven or it's an artificial intelligence. That's the
okay.
future.
Yes, which is very similar when you use Lazada. When you chat with some of the systems, they answered you back, but I'm very sure it's the artificial intelligence that answering you back.
We call them the chatbot, which
Okay.
addresses some of your concerns on basic questions that you ask them as well.
Okay. But of course, there will be some that you will ask, where will the face to face or the humanness comes in after the short
Yeah,
list?
so there are things again, as I said, that robots and artificial intelligence can do. So where you see that these are all as could be measured by systems and standards and parameters that you feed to the AI. The human side is where you now make decisions in terms of culture fit, in terms of the feel. I mean, the kind of your relationship that you build, because human relations will always be too human, the human capabilities that are too so where HR, where recruitment will come into play, your recruitment officer especially will come into play, is when they start feeding, being fed, say rather, by the process driven by your AI. So they will pick up those qualified candidates and just do your final round of interview, and then the next thing you can do is already make an offer.
I'm enjoying this conversation. But we'll have a break first. But I would like to mention that not only in talent acquisition, but also say in learning and development, we have the LMS, Then also for performance management, we have the
Yeah.
systems for PMS and also for succession planning. So
Yes.
let's just
So
have,
habit systems.
but you will just go, malalak ang lack of time talaga tayo rito. But we
Uh-huh.
can just mention it later on because I would like also to share a video that you sent me and then we discuss
Mhm.
about it. I've seen it also. So,
Mhm.
Jay, can we have the first break? We are on time. Welcome back to HRI Hotline. Jay, can we have the poster on the TNC shows so that I will introduce the shows that we have in TNC? That means that we are the option. So the big picture shares inspiring stories of notable personalities Mondays to Fridays. It's our hotline. That's our show this lunchtime. It's about human resources management. Have an insightful Saturday afternoon because the family business is everyone's business. The fourth project is about life, business, and success stories live from Dubai. Usapang Beauty is about beauty beyond what your eyes can see Thursdays and Saturdays. The world has faced an unprecedented pandemic. Time to hear positive testimonies straight from those who recovered from the disease. The COVID stories on Saturdays. Discover your life, purpose, and learn from others' turnaround stories by tuning in to You Turn. The Home Buyer is where you hear remarkable stories about building and owning a property. Laugh and learn through the puppet stories. By the way, Mr. Wanlu is also watching us this time. Magbenta, bumili at tumulong dahil bukas na ang TNC Marketplace, an online night bazaar. Your law is for all of us to understand the law, fun, and cool too. Watch and learn about money and more. Streams live from the Philippines and the US on Tuesdays. And two leaders in one platform, the TNC The Talk. After Shift is a chillaxing show about your choices and lives after work. Discover and learn strategies on self leadership to win in life through Win Within on Saturdays. Dream, achieve, nurture, and inspire. Tag your kids along and watch Danny at Art Show Fridays at 5:30 and global issues, common interest, learn together across borders with foreign affairs streams on Tuesdays. And because health is wealth, Healthline on Wednesdays and Fridays. And we have more upcoming show and try to catch up with the original one-day show here at TNC and the TNC Town Hall. This is the new normal. This is the option. Always be with us and make sure. You know what the live stream is? This is recorded and this is forwarded. Actually, um, the niche, the viewers of HR Hotline, after 2 hours a day, a week, it really balloons. It is being shared. Okay, so let's have uh, my friend Gilbert Camasura, FPM, MBA, and CEO of HRTX.
Thank you so
I'm so
much.
proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I was listening to you. So, what we just discussed is about talent management, the advanced technologies and talent management. We have a video. Can we show it, Jay? Just for thanks. So the future is here. I love that. I love that.
No,
So
the
what are the technologies really being facilitated by HRTX?
So,
If my
you
if
know,
I may ask, we are not promoting the company, but I am really
so,
curious. What are the technologies that you actually offer?
sure. Well, the good thing here, Jessica said, like I am with the HR community, and I
Yes.
am an HR practitioner. And
Okay.
gaya ng sinabi na, when we were talking about recruitment, I came from the ranks and I grew up my career as an HR. Imagine that, we get tired. Ako, when I work with the BPO company, I facilitated 4,000 applications in a month. I lost
Wow.
my voice for 2 weeks just because I was interviewing, 'di ba? And I'm sure any of the trainers, ganyan din, no? So let's talk more about recruitment. So what has happened is that sabi ko, there must be a solution for us to be able to become more effective. This can't go and continue like this because there could be, and I'm really happy that there are scientists, there are people that have discovered, this whole thing that where they're all offering. And HRTX did not discover. HRTX is actually more an advocate, a business that actually helps organization put up and build, the whole process so that you are ready. You're ready in
That's why
terms
I
of
use the word facilitate. You facilitate.
future. That's right. So you're future proofing the whole thing. You're trying to upskill your people to be ready as well for new responsibilities that may be presented to them, that they could be more productive in any way. So we have adapted to a number of platforms. One in recruitment. So we do have artificial intelligence that actually will help. And again, to your point, whether an organization needs this, you need to assess. Kasi nga, not all organizations may be
Of
pushed,
course.
may be ready to adapt to the digital transformation. But sometimes, this is the challenge naman that I'd like to pose to as well, HR. If not now, when? When things are forcing us to already work from home, we have no choice
Okay,
but to
okay.
take
Let me
to
ask you
the
this. Let me ask you this so that will give them the idea. Some are not really heavy on recruitment. So, what is the measure? What for an organization? Say, if it is a 50 or 100 in a month, you really need this system already. What is
Well,
the measure?
it is not really, it's really more like organization efficiency. So if one person, let's just
Yes,
use it on the manpower that are doing, say, for example, recruitment. If these
yes,
people could actually do other than what they're doing, the routinary work of recruitment, then
right,
you could
right.
find them to do project management. They could be doing a lot of agile transformation. They could actually do more strategic work rather than do the transactional. Yung mga bagay that are very admin, push it on and give it to the machines and the technology. Whereas people that are with you, try to grow them and develop them to become somebody better than
Yes,
you.
they can function other essential functions of HR, rather
So
than doing
also,
the nitty gritty of admin, of
yeah,
trying to shift and then
that's right.
yeah, 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 yeah. So
So
what else?
that
What else?
katulad niya, no? So you're talking about just the talent management. If we transition it to, if we move it to say learning and development or talent
Yes, yes.
development, there's also what you call now virtual simulations. So
Very
before
good.
it used to be LMS, now it's like virtual simulation where people go and attend to classes. People will have to learn new skills. People will have to adapt to new platform. You won't see any facilitator, but it's a virtual platform that will actually let you learn. And as you learn, and as you put your, so there, you're given stimulus, you're given all of that for you to adapt to the kind of learning that the virtual simulation is giving you. So the stimulus will actually ask to for you to react or act on it. Now, any single decision you makes a good report after the whole session, and then you will be able to discover saan ba ikaw, what are your core strengths, what are your areas for improvement, where did you miss on something, and where else you could
It's
do and work on
it's
and improve.
actually
Imagine
it's
that the
actually
same
as a Gilbert, it's actually a support to succession planning, which I am doing a
happening.
webinar now because it's now actually helping you identify your career needs, career path, and career dev. Is that what you're telling us?
That's right. So there are companies, there are local and global companies that are using our virtual simulation, which replace your traditional classroom. So there's no more facilitator. It's a simulation ask ask all participants to attend, and it's a series. So it could be leadership.
Is
So leadership.
Gilbert, sorry, is that similar to what I attended?
Yes.
You invited me once to do a
Yes.
simulation. I took two. Actually, it was
Yes.
three. I didn't join the third one, but I took two, and I
I
enjoyed.
know.
Is that the one that you're telling us?
Yes, yes. So Jesse, on the initial approach of any individual to the program, when you adapt to this kind of platform, medyo you get a little
Uneasy,
uncomfortable, uneasy.
uneasy.
Pero the moment you're used to it, it becomes your natural stance to just answer and address all of that. Wala kang kausap, but it's your thing that it's working on all these business cases.
Is this off the rack, or are they going to customize it for organization?
They could actually, based on what your core leadership values, depending on what your core, I mean, your company culture says. Like, for example, trust is big, collaboration is big, say, innovative thinking, design thinking, and all of this. We all have those kinds of program that are ready. And again, it doesn't cost that much. I know that public programs cost like more than 15,000. I think we've had it even as low as what, parang $20 or $30.
Okay, okay. How about performance management? Do you have one?
Okay. Yeah. So you talk about employee engagement, which is one of
Yes, yes,
the
yes, yes.
uh,
Yes, that's one. I am in. Yes,
oo.
yes.
So
Please,
ito
please.
yan, no? So right now, my question to all our viewers, all the HR practitioners is how well are you really doing your part to make sure that you touch base with your employees, knowing how they feel, knowing what they're thinking, knowing what they're doing. So, that's going to be tough. If you let all your HR business partner, all your HR members of the team will have to do that, then that's going to be tedious. You'll have to let them log into the Zoom. You'll have to let them log into Microsoft Teams and all of these blue jeans and whatnot. However, we could also do it, no? But then there's another way to do it. Use any virtual use any virtual platforms where they could be engaged. So we have a program that we offer that we are using in the company to actually get to engage with employees. This is knowing how they feel. So you do survey, you do climate survey, you check on how they're doing. If you're giving them assignment, you could organize it in such a way using their codes and keys. And then if they do perform very well, you could actually reward them. You can recognize and reward them that everybody could see it in that platform. A matter of just saying and click off the button and say, congratulations, Jesse, for hosting a very good program in TNC. And then corresponding to that, I'm giving
Oh,
you
that's
100
wonderful.
and I'm giving you 100 points, Jesse, na may equivalent na 100 pesos that you can actually buy in our virtual store. So wala, it's cashless, it's touch,
Yeah.
again, ang touch points mo malalim pero yung human touch points are not necessary anymore, but
Ah,
you can still feel that you're
Gilbert,
important to me.
Gilbert, before you continue, allow me to mention this, that it is actually true. I had, you know her, I had Heidi Enriquez the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was mentioning me as similar. But what you're telling me is a little bit advanced. As I think, I don't know if they have it already or they are improving it. But actually, even with engagement, they're now using systems. And then I love what you are describing to us now. So for those who are listening to us and viewing us, it is happening and it is true. Can you continue, Gilbert? So you
Oo.
get
So, for
rewards.
example, no, I want everybody to complete your performance appraisal system. You to complete your evaluation of your performance, say over the past quarter, and that as a CEO, I could say for whoever completes it on a specific date, say today being Saturday and the last day of the week. So then what we will do is for all of those who've completed. I would be able to check them on the system, and then for those who I feel could be rewarded, again, a matter of click in the button and saying that congratulations A B C D up to the 50th employee or more, to say your CEO is actually trying to congratulate you. So that's going to be a very powerful, high impact touch point by leadership to your people, and 360, people down would be able to give feedback as well to your superior and your supervisors in terms of how they're doing. So again, and vice versa.
Nice. And that is employee engagement. So we had acquisition, we have
Mm-mm.
learning and development. And I was so blessed. And you know that. With Inquirer, they asked me to learn it and then they asked me to do it, the PMS. That's actually Mercer, wherein you have the three P's. Okay. What is the advanced, that was decades ago, Gilbert, you know that. So what is the advanced technology now as far as performance management is concerned?
So in the performance management, you need to key in some of your key deliverables, based on the metrics of each of the position. You will have to feed that to the system, and the system will actually pick up what the employee has committed over a period of, say, a month or 3 months per quarter or even a semester. After which, the program will actually remind you in terms of what you are achieving. So it gives you a signal whether the person is nearing and completing some of the projects that have been committed, and then if you're not, then it alerts like what you need to do and make sure that you are
Yes.
making it happen. And
I am
then you
listening.
the report by you just do your virtual feedback by saying this is what I've seen and so on. And again, these are all part of the progress that we're seeing in the entire human resource functions.
Just curious, because that was my problem before. Is there now an advanced system for profiling competencies?
Um, Sherm is actually working on it. I haven't really seen a full, blown. But again, assessment, yes, there are. There are, a lot of companies that are using, again, web-based or again, as I said, kanina, yung artificial intelligence, depending on how you perform in your interview, the way you interact with it will generate the kind of profile, the kind of personality that we see, say, from Jesse Rebustillo or Gilbert Camasura.
Okay, now let us go back to some realities. A lot of Philippine organizations, they are more concerned on timekeeping and then payrolling. Diba? And that is given. And then some even they still have the manual conven. So aside from that, say what are your thoughts or advice for an organization? Where will they start to advance their HR technology? Say mayroon ng timekeeping. Mayroon
Mhm.
ng mayroon ng naka-payroll na sa bangko. Okay, so that has been
Mhm.
given. Ano ang start, Gilbert? Can you tell
Yeah.
us as a
So
concern?
again, look at the situation itself, try to map out, understand again, organization transformation, the transformation will actually impact people, process, strategy, structure, and technology. So you talk about people, the kind of things that are being worked and how will this impact, say, the people that are within the organization, and then try to map out the kind of process that you are currently doing, so from this current state of doing your timekeeping and payroll system, where do you think it will be, or what would be the ideal step or process that you would like to define for the organization, and then you could define all, I mean, you could create that definition of yung ideal state of your timekeeping and payroll by defining as well the metrics. Say, for example, accuracy, velocity,
Yeah.
convenience,
Right.
ganun sa mga empleyado. And then, you drive and try to design the kind of structure and technology that will match it. Gaya just like what I have been saying, not all organizations have the same requirement for digitizing their platforms or transforming their HR. Some will take
Okay.
a little while and some aspects, pero yung iba, Jesse, could be way ahead, especially for global organizations.
Okay. Before we have our second break, let me ask you this. Is it a requirement that you must have an HRIS?
Not anymore. But if you are working on any ERP, most of the fourth gen development will actually match kasi some of them will already have database eh.
Right.
Before yung HRIS is where you put them, it's in an ERP. Some right now will actually feed and gather information depending on the kind of program that you're implementing. Baseline, of course, is always having an HRIS. But the question is whether you need to keep one or not. It really would depend on the system and technology that you're using.
Wonderful insights and learnings from Gilbert. Can we have the second? Nako, kukulang ang oras sa atin. Can we have the second break? Jay? We are on the last portion, and it is job fair. So, FARE, how do we fare in advancing our HR technology in our organizations? Maybe we're the one blocking it. Maybe we're the one actually not engaged or endorsing it. It's high time, ladies and gentlemen, owners and HR people, let us advance our HR technology. Now, this is the other one, the job fair, FAIR. There are still positions waiting for you at Will Desena and Associates, our sponsor for this episode. Recruitment at wdainc.com.ph. You can proceed to their office in Tandang Sora or just send your resume. I just hope I will try to discuss with the HR, with my friend in Will Desena, to look into their recruitment system also. Then we have Puzzlebacks. Puzzlebacks is looking for also applicants, and then you can send your uh, resumes to careers at puzzlebacks.inc.com. We also have vacancies at Algom, psychiatric nurses, caregivers, cook, driver, security guard. Send your resume at algonplace at gmail.com. They are at Kabuyao. So if you're in that area, try to uh, apply at Algon. I'm also endorsing my webinar on October 1. It's conducting virtual competency-based interviews, and I will already inject what Gilbert and I are discussing. But this is more, of course, on the competency-based interview. I'm also endorsing events, the regional conference in Cebu. How are you going to register? Try to look for their website www.pmapcebu and then register. It is virtual, so it's not only for Cebu. It's for everybody in the Philippines or abroad. Then also for PMAP and PSTD. PMAP Dash Annual Conference will be on October 21, 22, and 23, and PSTD National Convention on November 16, 17, 18. You know, if you're interested, PME, there is a difference between a conference, a summit, and a convention. Okay, I'm also endorsing, of course, I am the president of POPS, the POPS Total Online Presence. It will be free on the first, on the plenary at 2 o'clock, and then the tracks actually at 6 p.m. Minimal fee of 500 each per truck. Also, how are you going to register? Look for us in the our web, pops.com. Okay, so let's go back to Gilbert. Yes.
Ang busy, Jesse, ah.
Yeah. I am doing actually webinar for succession plan. Anyway, Gilbert. Anyway, Gilbert, it's like this. Before you give your again your concluding or parting message, I'm not putting you into the wall, pero a lot of people will be interested. Uh, what are the best employee software management, HR management software that you have in mind? Just mention it for its. Para may idea na sila. May ideas na sila.
Pero I would
Of course,
rather,
friends natin ng iba, ha?
no,
We are not active.
yeah, kasi ang hirap, no, baka sabihin na I have bias and whatnot. So I think where how I would answer that is where you could now start trying to digitize. Gaya ng pinag-usapan natin, probably would do a good recap, is that in your recruitment, guys, there is already an available technology that could actually help you speed up, increase efficiency in talent recruiting. There are many platforms there already. Artificial
Are you
intelligence.
available to get calls if they're interested
Yes,
or they just go to
um,
Google?
sure. I am interested to help journey with any individuals, HR, local or global, people who are very curious what the cost will look like. Actually,
Yeah,
halos afford, well, ako nga sabi ko nga, people are just scared because it's the unknown, Jesse. Eh. But if
yes,
you guys try to discover and find out, there's nothing really to lose. There's really nothing to spend much. But, it will have impact to the bottom line. Eh, yun naman tayo eh. Pero nga, and I would always, and probably some of my parting, and advice to many is that before you even adapt to transforming your HR, try to figure out what is your strategy in HR and where does it sit to the board so that from leadership to HR naka-align yung inyong people strategy and the business, the vision
Right.
and the mission of the organization. You cannot just naturally introduce digitization in your people strategy pagka hindi siya naka-anchored to the foundation, which is like the vision, the mission, the values of the organization, and why are you doing it. Doesn't make sense. So we in HRTX, we help you understand and realize, how to connect both. We have consultants that are Indians, Americans, and Filipinos, of course, who can help you transform your organization into an agile one. Culture is very important, even before we adapt to any of the digital platform. Now, for solutioning nga, so again, artificial intelligence could be in recruitment. Virtual simulation could now replace your traditional classroom. You have your employee engagements, your employee climate survey tools, your organization development and performance management system, which are all available in the market. Again, it is a matter of how you take this and leverage on these technologies to make you become effective HR leaders of your respective organizations. So there you go,
Gilbert,
Jeff.
before you do your concluding statement, you mentioned about climate surveys, and sometimes that is my concern. After the climate surveys, wala na. So there is really pala a system that looks into it.
Yeah, actually ngayon, ang nagre-read na nun and then the analytics comes out, no? You will know whether the morale of the workforce is low,
That's
high,
wonderful.
na
That's
yun,
wonderful.
hindi na siya yung katulad ng kasi look at the survey that we do. You send it out through email and then your employees will never answer it. Kasi they're busy or they're not that's not necessarily appreciated by them. Ito the artificial intelligence matches with chatbot. Tapos si chatbot will encourage you as you answer, marami siyang tinatanong, but that encourages you to be engaged. As soon as employees finishes, they even get a reward from the system by saying you have just completed this survey and you are earning say 100 points which you can now go to your store to buy in and convert this to any say load for your globe, load for your smart or load for your any mobile phone. Ganun siya ka connected all together, and that's the
Wow.
beauty of having technology to play with us in HR because we need it around this time.
Okay, can we now have your conclusion, Gilbert?
Well,
I promise I will invite you again. No, lots
always
of
anytime. So I think for the
no,
many
no, no, no,
HR.
no. Let me cut you first. Next time our topic, what you learn in your MBA.
Okay. What I learned is the dessert I gave you, Jesse. So, sige. So,
Your conclusion.
and a strong business acumen. I think I talk about a lot about business acumen because sometimes we fear when we are in front of the board, parang feeling natin we're intimidated by the presence of your CFO, CMO. But that one I've learned to be bolder and of course wiser as an HR practitioner. But some good parting words is that take it forward, guys. And as I take the role as well of a chief, take it forward, meaning let's look at and leverage on the availability of technology, allow this to become our tools and enabling tools that will make us become better individuals and leaders for that. The reason why I am putting HRTX, having to admire still human resources to be our business drivers. However, without technology we will less become capable, no? So I encourage everybody to look at it and try to shift mindset and see how we could now play off both people plus technology. And as I said, this coming in together is a good definition of the strategy in the new normal.
Thank you very much, Gilbert. Insights and learnings from my dear, dear friend.
Thank
Yes,
you again,
ladies,
Jesse.
yes, ladies and gentlemen. I just got a recent study from ILO, International Labor Organization, wherein HR or the function of HR is not part of that when will it will be destructed, that it will be gone when the technology will come. Rather, it will be a rising star. But the here is we have to be upskilled, reskilled, and we have to really be creative and open to improve what you're doing. What we are really after is the employee experience. What Gilbert shared with us, it's there. We have to invest and we have to look into that using those to make it a comfortable experience to our employees and let our technology help us. My analogy is it's so easy to now for Jojo to cook. We have what you call the if you would like to cook barbecue, if you like to the tenderizer and everything. So it's far from what he was doing there in the Panay. It's so easy now for us to we have all the gadgets here. Say I would like this painting to be placed on the wall. You have a lot of equipments that you use. Similarly, in HR, we have to advance our technology. If you are actually complaining that you're getting tired, as mentioned by Gilbert, your voice is actually hoarse, just like me, then get some help with technology. They are not our competitors, they are our help. So let us collaborate with them. It is not that we really have to be, of course, savvy with technology, but it is just trying to appreciate and use them to our advantage. Let us give what the machines can do. But again, we are HR. Let HR do what human needs. With that, ladies and gentlemen, Diyos mabalos po. Ito si Jesse Francis Rebustillo.